Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025, and this is your AM Update.
Last week, I did numerous news conferences, and then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him.
President Trump reacting to wild weekend social media rumors that he died. The House Oversight Committee drops the first batch of the Epstein files. The Trump administration's attempt to claw back billions in last-minute Biden climate grants gets the go-ahead from a powerful court of appeals.
We have been prioritizing in enriching the wealthy.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar brands herself as a humble servant of the working class, but her financial disclosures reveal a different story. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM Update. Who's really on your side when it comes to your health? Insurance companies? Bureaucrats? Pharmacies that refuse valid prescriptions? Not so much. Too many parts of our healthcare system are working against you, blocking proven treatments, jacking up prices, making you jump through hoops that are unnecessary. This is why I want to tell you about All Family Pharmacy, an independent pharmacy that's on your side, fighting for your medical freedom, making it simple to get the treatments you trust without the insurance runaround. Just order online. A licensed doctor will review your request, and your medication ships straight to your door. It's fast, simple, and secure. Right now, ivermectin and mebendazole are 25% off, starting at just $2 a capsule. And you can save another 10% off with code Megyn10. Choose from over 200 medications: antibiotics, hydroxychloroquine, NAD+, antivirals, and more, all with a prescription included. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Megyn and use the code Megyn10 to save today. That's All Family Pharmacy, where your health and your choice matters. The president on Tuesday announcing U.S. Space Command, or SpaceCom, will move from Colorado to Alabama while answering questions on a wide array of topics. President Trump establishing SpaceCom in 2018, setting up temporary headquarters in Colorado Springs as other cities were evaluated for a permanent home. SpaceCom is one of 11 combatant commands within the Department of Defense, meaning the highest echelon of military commands. It oversees military operations in space. In 2021, the Air Force announcing Huntsville, Alabama as the preferred location for a permanent HQ. In 2023, President Biden scrapping those plans in favor of keeping SpaceCom in Colorado, citing concerns with Alabama's abortion laws. President Trump yesterday from the Oval describing Colorado's mail-in voting as partial reasoning for moving out of the state.
The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting, so they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also.
The Colorado congressional delegation, including Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, releasing a statement, quote, "Moving Space Command sets our space defense apparatus back years, wastes billions of taxpayer dollars, and hands the advantage to the converging threats of China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea." Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and scores of Alabama officials from the Oval touting Huntsville as the proper home of Space Command.
The DoD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments. And where did they say SpaceCom should go? Huntsville, Alabama.
This move will save the taxpayers $480 million. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command.
You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama.
Colorado lawmakers vowing to fight the move. Also on Tuesday, President Trump reacting to wild social media speculation over the weekend that he died. On Saturday, Trump is dead and Trump died going viral on X. Thousands of leftist users speculating, many gleefully, that the president was no longer alive, claiming that the president's empty holiday weekend schedule meant he died.
How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff. Well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility.
On a more serious note, Fox's Peter Doocy asking if Mr. Trump would support stationing a National Guardsman at every school in the wake of yet another school shooting last week.
I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children, too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry, that's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. It'd have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, but I always thought that would be an alternative.
President Trump, also from the Oval, weighing in on a federal judge's ruling yesterday that found National Guard troops in L.A., under federal authority, had been used to carry out police functions in violation of a federal law that prohibits use of the armed forces to enforce civilian laws. Democrat Governor of California Gavin Newsom suing the Trump administration over the mobilization, arguing it violated the law. The White House arguing the move was legal because the troops were working to protect federal agents and property amid an immigration enforcement action, met by large, violent protests. But Clinton-appointed Judge Charles Breyer ruling some actions went beyond what the law allows. Judge Breyer writing, quote, "The injunction applies only to defendants' use of the National Guard in California, not nationally. Defendants are not required to withdraw the 300 National Guard troops currently stationed in Los Angeles, nor are they barred from using troops consistent with the federal law. In fact, the court essentially just orders defendants to follow the training materials that they introduced in this trial. Thus, for example, the judge goes on, federal troops can continue to protect federal property in a manner consistent with the law at issue." President Trump from the Oval.
Today in California ruled that your deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles was illegal. Do you have any response?
Well, it was a radical left judge, but very importantly, what did you not tell me in that question or statement that you made? Pretty much of a statement, I think.
Well, I was asking for your response.
No, you didn't say what the judge said, though. The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can continue to be in place. That's all we need. But why didn't you put that as part of your statement? Because the same judge ruled exactly as you said, except the judge said that you could leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do.
The White House is likely to appeal the ruling. Last night, the House Oversight Committee releasing the first batch of the so-called Epstein files it has received from the Department of Justice. More than 33,000 documents uploaded online as individual images, leaving many social media users frustrated over the files not being easily searchable. Journalists Sagar and Jetty posting to X, quote, "First batch of Epstein files I'm reviewing are legal documents that are already publicly available to my immediate glance. Criminal complaint filed against Epstein, Maxwell, court documents, etc." Political reporting, quote, "Among materials unveiled Tuesday evening are some video clips, including one that appears to feature a young woman recounting her experience as one of Epstein's masseuses. Her image and the image of the interviewer are blurred." The information originally handed over to the Oversight Committee last month by the DOJ in connection with the committee's probe into the government's handling of the Epstein case. The Oversight Committee then working to redact victim information or elements related to ongoing criminal matters. More information from the DOJ is expected to be released in the future, though the timeline is unclear. In the meantime, Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie, a Republican, in a separate effort earlier in the day, attempting to circumvent House leadership and force a vote compelling the DOJ to release its Epstein files, nearly all of them. The petition requires 216 more members to sign on, many expecting last night's release to sap momentum from Massie's push. Congressman Massie and Ro Khanna, a Democrat from California, will hold a press conference later today featuring 10 of Epstein's victims. We'll update you on the contents of the DOJ's latest document dump as we go through them. Coming up, a big win for the EPA as it attempts to claw back billions of dollars in alleged environmental grants shelled out after Harris lost the 2024 election in an effort one Biden staffer referred to as, quote, throwing gold bars off the Titanic. And Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's financial disclosures reveal a difference between her political branding and reality. Well, I've been talking a lot about Riverbend Ranch lately because I love their steaks. Riverbend Ranch has taken Black Angus beef to a whole new level. For the last 35 years, Riverbend Ranch has been creating a very elite Angus herd by using ultrasound to select genetically superior cattle with a focus on flavor and tenderness. When you purchase from Riverbend Ranch, you are not only supporting the 64 cowboys and cowgirls and their families who work on the ranch, but you're also supporting over 260 other U.S. ranches and the hundreds of American families who work on them. It's born in the USA, it's raised in the USA, it's processed in the USA. It is aged to perfection for 21 days and shipped directly from the ranch to your home. This is not your average Black Angus beef. So order from riverbendranch.com. Use the promo code Megyn to get $20 off your first order and let me know what you think. riverbendranch.com, promo code Megyn. Yet another win for the Trump administration as a D.C. District Court's injunction undermining the president's executive authority is struck down. The powerful D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals finding on Tuesday that the lower court overstepped its authority when it stopped the Trump administration from temporarily withholding billions of dollars in last-minute Biden climate grants. You may remember this story from December, cited in yesterday's court ruling. Investigative journalists at Project Veritas releasing a video showing a purported EPA official bragging about efforts to safeguard climate funding before newly elected Donald Trump took office.
Now we're just trying to get the money out as fast as possible before they come in and like pop it up. It truly feels like we're on the Titanic and we're throwing like gold bars off the hatch. Who are the gold bars going to? Nonprofits, states, tribes. We gave them the money because it was harder. If it was a government-run program, they could take the money away. If Trump won, and because it was a insurance policy against Trump winning. Until the Trump people come in and tell us we can no longer give out money.
Throwing gold bars off the Titanic. Under Trump 2.0, newly installed EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin ordering a review of all grants amid concerns about conflicts of interest and the total lack of government oversight. In February, Zeldin announcing the discovery of $20 billion in EPA grant money, oddly parked in a private bank rather than within the U.S. Treasury, where grant money is typically held. Zeldin referring to the setup as a Biden-era scheme in an announcement on social media.
Roughly $20 billion of your tax dollars were parked at an outside financial institution by the Biden EPA. This scheme was the first of its kind in EPA history, and it was purposefully designed to obligate all of the money in a rush job with reduced oversight. Even further, this pot of $20 billion was awarded to just 8 entities that were then responsible for doling out your money to NGOs and others at their discretion with far less transparency. Just under $7 billion was sent to one entity called the Climate United Fund. EPA needs to reassume responsibility for all of these funds. We will review every penny that has gone out the door. I will be referring this matter to the Inspector General's office and will work with the Justice Department as well.
Following a review, the EPA moving in March to cancel $16 billion of those grants to 5 nonprofits, including the Climate United Fund, Coalition for Green Capital, Stacey Abrams-linked Power Forward Communities, Inc., Inclusive Inc., and Justice Climate Fund, Inc. Those groups then suing the EPA. D.C. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, who presided over Special Counsel Jack Smith's election interference case against President Trump, issuing an injunction in March blocking the EPA from clawing back the funds. What a shock. On Tuesday, in a 2-1 vote, the U.S. Court of Appeals in D.C. ruling, quote, "We conclude the district court abused its discretion in issuing the injunction. The grantees are not likely to succeed on the merits because their claims are essentially contractual and therefore jurisdiction lies exclusively in the Court of Federal Claims, meaning the case was not filed in the proper jurisdiction, and Judge Chutkan did not have the authority to rule on it. More from the ruling, quote, while the district court had jurisdiction over the grantee's constitutional claim, that claim is meritless. An EPA spokesperson telling Fox News, quote, it's fantastic to see reason prevail in the court system. The United Climate Fund responding, quote, while we are disappointed by the panel's decision, we stand firm on the merits of our case. EPA unlawfully froze and terminated funds that were legally obligated and dispersed. We will continue to press on for communities across the country that stand to benefit from clean, abundant, and affordable energy. This is not the end of our road. The decision is expected to be appealed. Another right-wing conspiracy proven true. U.S. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, a Democrat representing Minnesota, going on record in February saying rumors of her secret millions were entirely false. Omar writing on X in response to a post alleging her fortune has ballooned well past her income high into the millions, quote, my salary is $174,000 before taxes. I don't have stock or own a home, and am still paying off my student debt. So if you are going to lie on something that is public, maybe try checking my public financial statements, and you will see I barely have thousands, let alone millions. Just a few days later, Omar telling Business Insider, quote, since getting elected, there has been a coordinated right-wing disinformation campaign claiming all sorts of wild things, including the ridiculous claim that I am worth millions of dollars, which is categorically false. Omar defines her public image as a far-left progressive on the side of ordinary working people, standing up against the wealthy and powerful.
You know, we as a country strive to create a more equitable space for everyone.
Privileged billionaires who don't give a damn about America and Americans should not be making decisions that put Americans at harm.
We have been prioritizing in enriching the wealthy. We need to make sure that we're holding special interests accountable, that we're getting money out of politics, that we are taxing the uber rich.
The Washington Free Beacon on Monday, however, reporting Congresswoman Omar's 2024 financial disclosure form shows she and her husband, former political consultant Tim Minett, accumulating a net worth ranging from at least $6 million up to $30 million last year alone. The vast majority coming from Minett's stake in a venture capital firm, Rose Lake Capital, valued somewhere between $5 and $25 million. Minett's share in a California-based winery, too, ranging from $1 million to $5 million. The couple's net worth soaring a combined 3,500% compared to the previous year. The disclosure form also revealing one student loan, somewhere between $15,000 and $50,000, and a credit card in the same range. So it appears part of Omar's claim is true. She is still paying her student loans. Her savings account is in the thousands. She just sort of appears to have forgotten to mention the two multi-million-dollar assets tied to her husband's businesses. Minett's finances proving to be a recurring source of controversy for Omar. Omar and Minett met in June 2018 when his firm was hired to consult on her political campaigns, earning him millions of dollars, $2.9 million in the 2020 election cycle alone. Minett's wife filing for divorce in 2019, alleging her husband was having an extramarital affair with the Congresswoman. 2 months later, Ilhan Omar filing for divorce from her then-husband. In March of 2020, Omar announcing her marriage to Minett on Instagram and terminating his political consulting contract after the 2020 election, telling the Star Tribune the decision was to, quote, make sure that anybody who is supporting our campaign with their time or financial support feels there is no perceived issue with that support. For those of you wondering, this is not the husband who is allegedly also Ilhan Omar's brother. That was Ahmed Nur Saeed Elmi, whom she married in 2009, separated from in 2011, and divorced in 2017. Then came another husband who she divorced to marry Minett. Omar denies that this first husband was her brother. The accusation is that he was, and she married him for immigration purposes, but the Daily Mail claims it has genetic proof of this claim. The Minneapolis Star Tribune, her hometown paper, conducted its own investigation, concluding it, quote, could neither conclusively confirm nor rebut that she married her brother. In any event, This guy Minot, he's a different guy. And that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here for the Megyn Kelly Show, live on SiriusXM Triumph Channel 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast platforms.